Okay, so now we're gonna look at the reason why I called that Blake Street Production Studios. So that was about 6 years ago. I think I created that. Not well. That I came up with the concept 6 years ago. So what had transpired is I wrote a letter to my community where I spoke a lot of untruths about the reincarnated mother, because at that time there was an investigation, and how I do my investigations is by looking at various mediums, such as music or movies or anything that I'm in my feeds. And so the story I was told is that they wanted to create the bad guys who got rid of us, forcing us to reincarnate here, wanted to drive a wedge between us. And the way they decided to drive that wedge between us was to harm mother and make her not like guys, if you catch my drift, because I have to be mindful of how I choose my words. So at that time, it was a perfectly sound theory in my mind that, if I'm supposed to get with her to save creation, but she hates guys because of, something that transpired, to her at a young age, well then, we're never going to get together. And that's one way to, destroy us, by keeping us here. So I wrote a letter to the community, telling, this was like my second letter. The first letter, I told them what was going on with me. The second letter, where, I kind of said, this is my update. This is what I think's going on. Here's a little bit of evidence. But I wrote a disclaimer in that letter stating that I don't know if this is true or not. I said, this is just what I'm being shown by the spirits. So I was shown that she dropped out of school, and her lover were living in Toronto because her lover was working down there at a club, and that they had developed a habit, a drug habit, and were homeless. So at the time they were staying in a motel. So I had some COVID money. At that time, Canada was giving out money for COVID, so I had $2,000 in my account. So that's what I used to go to Toronto and look for her. So I went down to where that motel was, hoping to find her there, so I could give her the jump stick that I had of the story about her and I. But when I got to the motel, it was closed. So I spent the week at my cousin Troy's house. And, well, we got drunk, and during the day, I was creating playlists. So because I'm awake, as I was creating the playlist, it kind of tells a story. So I have another YouTube channel called Sherry and Anthony, where I created the playlist there. And it's called Blake Street Production Studios. And then there'd be like a name of the whatever the playlist was titled, So because I was in Toronto at Blake Street, and I was creating like a kind of a movie, that's why it dawned on me. I'm going to call it Blake Street Production Studios, because that's where the concept was birthed. Why would I want to call it Saugeen Production Studios? Because that's where the concept didn't take place. So the reason why it's called Blake Street Production Studios, Blake Street, is because I was in Toronto at that time when I came up with the concept at Troy Thompson's, where, I created a playlist, and I spent the whole week creating that playlist. There's all total, there's got to be 2,000 videos on those playlists, so to put 2,000 videos together to create several playlists, that takes quite a bit of time. If you went in there later, after knowing everything, about creation through my teachings, those playlists, as you watch them, they'd almost be like a movie for your mind. You'd be like, holy cow, I can kind of catch a clue here, a clue there, a clue there. I could see the movie a little bit. So that's what that happened at Blake Street, and that's why I call it Blake Street Production Studios. It's to pay homage to the area where I came up with the concept. So the video I'm going to play next after this is about Blake Street Public School. And here it is here. So there's Blake Street Production School. The kids talking, they go from there. This is where my cousin Troy lives. Troy's dad lives in this other building here, Derek. Now, after the kids are done talking, I'm going to play two songs connected to this drawing. The one is, I think, Fun. I can't remember the name of it, but there's a couple lyrics in there I'm going to explain. And the other one is Hey or Ho Hey by the Lumineers. So that's these two things, these words here. So the kids, they talk about music. And I'm going to link that to another video later. Well, I could probably play it afterwards. Because they're talking about music, and I'm using music to teach you guys. This is basically the School of Rock. You know, there's a movie titled that, starring Jack Black, School of Rock. So you're coming here and you're learning a little bit about music. But I have to, just pick and choose my my verses carefully, because I don't have permission to do the videos the way I want to do them yet. So kids, I want to talk to the kids first. So you kids go to school here. If you recognize yourself in there, I want you guys to know that when I become rich, I'm going to build you guys a big condo here. So you guys know that green parkland up there? And then you got your, that's your, right here, that's your community center. That's where I'm going to put your new living quarters. So this building here where Troy and Derek live, Mankind, those are 10 stories tall. So this one's 10 stories, that's 10 stories. But I'm going to build them right here, a 66-story condo tower. And this is a project. So they're still going to have their living area here. They're going to have their community center torn down. But in its place is going to be this 66-story tower where they get to live in there for free. Everything's paid for. And there's going to be like a lower commercial area down here where they can work out or they go swimming and they can get their groceries for free. Everything's paid for. You guys don't have to pay nothing. That's happening as soon as I get some money, Blake Street. So you kids watching yourself, you see that, you can let your families know. That's coming down the roads or the pipes. So this song by Fun, he says, give me a second. I need to get my story straight. So, that's me kind of getting my story straight. But he says, my friends are getting in the bathroom, I think, and they're getting hired in the Empire State. The friends is referring to Blake Street here, because I have friends there, and the kids at Blake Street School. When you see yourself, you're my friends. And you're going to be getting hired in the Empire State Building because of that new condo tower I'm going to build there for you guys at Blake Street. Now, over here is Anton. This is Troy. He lives over here in Blake Street. Anton lives in Chinatown. Their brother lives in Saugeen, but he's down in Toronto now, and they have a mother from Saugeen. So there they are there, right? So this is the Ho Hey. He says, took a bus to Chinatown. So he's talking about taking a bus to Chinatown, but the song is basically about family. So I want you guys, the three amigos who are, on one side of the fence, and then everyone else on the other side, I want you three amigos to know that this planet is divided when it comes to what we believe in. And we can't be divided. We have to be united. So when he talks about family in Ho Hey, picture that being as you on one side of the fence and we need you on this side of the fence with us. Because we are family. Think of what would happen if you took that bus to Chinatown and came over here to be with Native Americans. Spirituality. This is Route 66. Simple mathematical equation. There's 12 Angry Men. That's jury movie. And then there's 6 times 6 is 36. But if you take that, you get a 9. If you flip the 9, you get 666, which is again connected back to my stories about mankind being the 4 horsemen of God's apocalypse. So this is a good deed that I'm doing for projects and for the kids over here, guys. Please don't harm me so that I can make sure that these people live here for free in a place that's a project where people don't care about them people. So why would, Lucifer want to do something bad like that? That's a good thing, right? That's not a bad thing. So please leave me alone.